Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Super Reds. They are new and improved. Here comes Dr. Ryan to talk a little bit more about it. So stay tuned, take notes, get ready. If you haven't tried Super Reds yet, we recommend you try Super Reds as soon as possible.
Set up and make sure we're going live here on Instagram. My name is Ryan Goodkin. I am the Director of Product Development at LiveGood and a co-founder. And today we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about the organic Super Reds, but it's going to involve a lot of other little tangents that I'm probably going to go down. I am missing my trusted partner in business and in life, Lisa. She's not with me today, but I'll do my best to make her proud. So like I said, today we are going to discuss the LiveGood Organic Super Reds. And what we're going to talk about today is how it's a new and improved version. But before I get started, I want to make sure you guys know that it's very important for both us and for you to make sure that you like and you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, so you can stay up to date with all this exciting stuff that we're bringing out at a blistering pace. We're doing things very fast, but we're having fun. We're all having a lot of fun doing it. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about this massive topic. We're going to dive in first just saying, look, it's February. It is National Heart Health Awareness Month, and it is a personal story for me. It's very serious because it is the #1 killer worldwide. Heart disease is there worldwide. 2 people die approximately every minute. And it's personal to me because my father died of cardiac arrest, coronary artery disease. He had a lot of buildup of plaque, and I think he had just had a massive heart attack in the middle of the night, and that was that. I mean, had some other health issues that I've talked openly about. I've tried to use it as a platform to discuss these issues with everybody because I understand they're very relatable and very commonplace for most people. So, and Lisa actually worked so when she graduated her master's in exercise physiology, she went into cardiac rehab. She had worked in a hospital setting, very much in a reactive state where she was helping people recover from heart attacks and strokes. And, it was always a slow process. There was progress. I mean, people could make a difference, but it was always kind of sad for her, I think, though, because it was always in a sense, right? There was a lot that could have been done earlier. It never was. And that was the case with my father, too. So it's an important topic. We need to address it. And then secondly, I want to bring out and show you guys our updated version of our organic Super Reds. So we're going to dive into that today as well. And we're going to tell you about how awesome, already an awesome product, and how we even made it even better. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, let's dive in. So really what we're going to do is we're going to tackle this. Let me actually see some comments here, guys. Let me see what you're all saying. I love the fact that we can interact on this page. But we're going to talk about 3 main things today, the benefits of dietary nitrates. We're going to talk about it from a cardiovascular health perspective. We're going to talk about it from an exercise performance perspective, and we're also going to talk about it from a sexual health perspective. But don't lose sight of the fact that there are so many benefits of these dietary whole food nitrates. And they got metabolic health as a huge player, vision support, skin health, brain health, immune system support is really critical, antiviral, antimicrobial, lots and lots and lots of other benefits too. So let's dive in, guys. Let's see what we got going on here. Hello. Hi from Kentucky. A lot of flooding going on up there. Hope you guys are safe. Love it. All right, love it. All right, so let's talk about it from a cardiovascular support perspective. So heart disease, I've just told you, is very personal to me, but in the vast amount of information out there on heart disease, it really does come down to a number of really basic factors. A lot of it has to do with our metabolic health, right? A lot of it really goes back and stems from what's our body composition look like? What are we doing to take care of ourselves on a basic nutrition level? Are we getting the proper amount of exercise? Are we spending the right amount of time in restorative sleep? Are we managing our stress properly? Are we socializing? Are we enjoying life? Are we hydrating properly? Lots of different things. Are we getting proper amounts of sunlight? Are we supplementing properly? All of these factors, these are really foundational things that we need to be working on to sort of get ahead of the heart disease curve. Because heart disease is, like many of these chronic diseases, set in motion many years prior to an event. And unfortunately, for people that experience a heart attack, their first experience with it is fatal. Many people, and that's just a sad reality of how how important it is to bring awareness to this topic. So what we're going to do, let's talk about nitric oxide a little bit. Let's talk about dietary nitrates. Let's talk about the prescription drugs that are used in cardiovascular health. And then we can talk a little bit about the ingredients in the Super Reds. But cardiovascular support is handled a lot of times by nitrates. Nitrates are precursors to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule. It tells the blood vessels to relax, to open up, to increase blood flow. It is a gas, and it has a half-life of only a few milliseconds. It's very short-lived. But our dietary habits influence our nitric oxide production quite a bit. And it starts obviously in the oral mouth. That's why it's important to care for the oral microbiome. It's important to care for the gut microbiome. It's important to care for all of our microbiome, to be very cognizant of that. But we also need to be careful, be aware of the foods that influence our nitric oxide production, and understanding what nitric oxide isn't, and ultimately paying attention to these food choices. And that's what I would say the most important thing about, say, cardiovascular health is. I mean, it's really about the foods that we put in our body, avoiding pro-inflammatory seed oils, and avoiding these deep-fried, rancid foods, avoiding these highly processed foods that are just loaded in chemicals and synthetics, and avoiding like other pro-inflammatory things. You want to watch out for too much radiation. So obviously excessive sunburns or just being around radiation, too much of it. You want to watch out for, let's say, environmental toxins like cigarette smoke. So obviously cigarette smoking is a no-go. That's one that we have to address. You have to handle that. Gosh, that's a big one. So if you know a smoker, please continue to do what you can to influence them to stop smoking. Environmental exposure is there's a whole lot of toxins, a whole lot of things that we need to watch out for. Pesticides, of course, high fat intake, got to be careful with that, especially your trans fats, and watch for some saturated fat. Insulin resistance, I say insulin resistance, that's just, that's high fasting insulin. That's the fact that you're not processing sugar, you have high blood sugar levels. You need to get testing done to identify that. But generally speaking, if you're morbidly obese or overweight, you're likely insulin resistant. So that's another area that we definitely need to watch out for. Alcohol, right? Alcohol is another major contributor to free radicals and oxidative stress. So binge drinking, excessive drinking, daily drinking, these are all things that you need to watch for. We talked about sleep, stress. So let's get into a little bit of a discussion about what exactly does it mean to be a free radical or an antioxidant? So free radicals are what they call reactive oxygen species. These are the things that your body actually normally makes these. And they're bad when they get to a certain excessive level. And once they build up in the body and they are not neutralized by antioxidants, it really starts to lead to oxidative stress. It's this pro-oxidative state that is very dangerous. That's essentially what's happening when you have these buildup of plaques in our arteries. It gets oxidative stress, and it becomes highly inflamed, and it becomes sticky. And that's what ultimately, when one of those breaks apart and goes into the blood, leads to a heart attack or stroke. I mean, those are blood clots. That's the oxidative stress we want to avoid. But remember, this is years and years in the making. We've got to slow this process down early on. So all of those pro-inflammatory things I talked about are contributors to nitric oxide, reactive oxygen species, free radicals. So the smoking, the environmental exposures, the pesticides, the heavy metals, all of that stuff. So, but they are created. You do get free radicals as normal part of body metabolism, just energy metabolism. You get it as part of exercise. Like if you do a strenuous workout, you'll get free radicals. So they're not all bad. If you fall and break a bone or have a bruise or slice or cut your fingers, there is some free radical generation. Your immune response, if you're getting sick, generates free radicals. So they're not all bad. It's just more of a function about homeostasis and balance. I mean, our body should not be overloaded by free radicals, because when they do, it leads to that oxidative stress. So what are you supposed to do? Well, antioxidants. So free radicals are oxidants. So therefore, antioxidants are sort of how you neutralize excessive free radicals. And what's the best way to do that? Well, a healthy diet, rich in phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are just healthy plant vitamins, minerals from plants, well, from meat too. You can get actually quite a bit of antioxidants out of meat. People aren't really realize that. I mean, but say your cattle, your bovine is feeding on plants, and it actually can make these antioxidant compounds more bioavailable. So kind of a fun fact there. But that's the key. We've got to consume more of these phytonutrients. And, you guys have probably heard about what antioxidants are. They're vitamin C, there's zinc, there's copper, zinc, there's selenium. These are the things that you really want to focus on consuming. But the best way to do it is to get it through the colorful plants, those types of things. Eat the rainbow, as you might have heard. So that's kind of the one thing I wanted to bring up, is to make sure you guys know the difference between what I consider, say, free radicals and antioxidants. What does that mean? So antioxidants are vitamins, carotenoids too, so lutein and zeaxanthin. We'll talk about a little bit about those today for the vision support. Polyphenols, which is most of what you're going to find in these plant compounds. Glutathione is a master antioxidant. That's a separate molecule. That is something that's more created. The body will make it from cruciferous vegetables, sulfur-based compounds. So that's a great one, but unfortunately not very bioavailable. So be careful on the supplement side. And then zinc and copper, like I mentioned. So that's what you want to do. You want to avoid overloading the body with free radicals. And you need to introduce more antioxidants into your diet. So by doing so, you're going to feed the body with all of these beautiful nutrients, whole food-based nutrients. And it's going to help give the body what it needs to create nitric oxide. Like I said earlier, in cardiovascular disease, a lot of drugs work on this pathway. Nitroglycerin for angina, for people that have chest pain, is an organic nitrate. There's nitrates, isosorbide dinitrate. Those are blood pressure medications. There's a number of different blood pressure medications that work actually on the nitric oxide pathway because it's highly effective. And so very beneficial when you do it in a whole food-based manner. All right, let's stay. What are we talking about? Cardiovascular support. So yeah, that's the one main area I want to talk about today. It's cardiovascular support. I want to talk about exercise improvement. So exercise, if you're a competitive athlete, 5% is a huge number. And that's what the studies have shown that dietary nitrates can do. The International Olympic Committee, World Anti-Doping Agency, they all permit dietary nitrates as a performance enhancing agent. So again, works on that similar pathway. You're doing vasodilation, increasing the blood flow, increasing the perfusion of oxygen, improving the delivery of nutrients and minerals and vitamins and everything to the tissues so that they can do more work. And great for, like I said, great for exercise performance. And third, it was the sexual dysfunction category. For many men, and for women too, of course, but many men, when I hear about them struggling to either obtain an erection or sustain an erection, immediately my mind goes to blood circulation and early signs of heart disease, because that's the blood flow issue. That's kind of what you're dealing with. So the therapy, Viagra, the blue pill, was originally being studied as a blood pressure medicine, and it can be beneficial for blood pressure, but they also noticed another thing, which was sustained erection. So that was then developed into what it is today, is the number one drug used to prevent or to treat erectile dysfunction. So same pathway, organic nitrates. And there's so many benefits. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm only highlighting cardiovascular, exercise performance, and sexual health, but there are so many other benefits for consuming these whole foods-based dietary nitrates. So, all right, we did a good job, I think, covering antioxidants, what those are, free radicals, how they're generated. We talked about the internal way, the natural way that they're generated. We talked about the external stresses that increase the amount of free radicals. We said the things like radiation, air pollution, smoking, chemicals, sunburns, high-fat diets, excessive alcohol, stress, poor sleep, even strenuous exercise. We said that we want to strike a balance. We want a balance. The body will naturally try to have a balance of homeostasis. But remember, years and years, even just 50 years ago, I mean, we had way more plant compounds in our diet. More people were farming and doing small gardens at home. More people were eating organic meats, fruits, and vegetables just by nature, because the food development industrial process has gone so fast, so big, so quick that it's almost hard to keep up. So